All right, I guess we on. Why is this a little bit blurry and shit? Anyway, hey, what's going on, party people? Hope you guys can hear me. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer, and essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. The whole ideal of having you or helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced is just so that you can attain the highest level of consciousness. So that way you can become the Christ like, the Buddha like, the saint. I mean, that's the whole idea. Because by you aligning your emotions and your intellect together, now you have a broader perspective. A quick example of that, I mean, I would hope that you know by now that your emotions does have an impact on your intellect. And that's why we say sometimes some people are being, let's just say, too emotional, or they're being emotional. I'm just using the term as we use it. So you are also saying there's a lack of intellectual balance, or you're not seeing things correctly. However you say it, what you're truly saying is acknowledging that your emotions does have an impact on your intellect. So that's why they have to become in alignment, and vice versa. Your intellect also, that's when you have other people, what you call the intellect. Now they learn how to suppress their emotions. Or at this point, they're telling you there's a war between your emotions and your intellect. And for you to maintain a clear headed mind, you need to suppress your emotions. Now, that's bullshit as well. That's the flip side of, you know, let's just say, being too emotional. And then when you become too, let's just say, too masculine in so many words, and that's what we call it, meaning, you see things too logically. There's no such thing as too logically, but what I'm trying to say is, you know, um, you don't see what's beyond what you see. Only your emotions can allow for you to do that, just like your intuition can allow you to be in touch with the shit that's not in front of you. So therefore, you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with um, energy. But anyway, I'm saying that to say, they have to become in alignment for you to have the broader perspective. And that's why it's important for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And once you do so, you become what we call healed, but also you become what I also call the perfect man. Now, this is not referring to, let's just say, you being flawless. That's not what perfection is all about. When we say perfect, we're talking about you are in harmony, you balanced. Perfection is having it's completion. It's having those the yin and the yin. Those are or ma'at or justice. Because when we're implying or when we talk about justice, it's to balance the scale. Now, what was I talking about here? So again, going back to I mean, they have to be balanced. Now, when I'm talking about being emotionally balanced, I always like to give you a little bit of, how. Okay, this is how I help you. I help you to understand what your emotions are, because you have to understand what your emotions are. Those are energy, right? And in your energy, that's why we have a thing. There's such a thing as emotional intelligence. Meaning, you have the ability to deal with other people beyond just, the intellectual part of it. And out of that you could get what your hospitality. There's so many different things that derive from that emotional aspect of yourself. But anyway, you're dealing with energy. You have to understand, that's why when you get hurt, there's always a pain, and that pain is always a lesson. So energy is always exchanging. There's intelligence in it. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you got hurt the first time, like I ain't doing that again. Or you may choose to keep doing it. But the bottom line here is that there's a message. Now, depending on who you are, I mean, you the whole thing is so you do to become a better you, so you could process that information better. Because for you to think critically, you got to be critical. To that critical aspect of yourself, listen, man. And then we're gonna be talking about creative thinking. But anyway, I'm just getting ahead a little bit, a little bit too ahead of myself here. But anyway, so pretty much when you learning how to balance your emotions or to become emotionally balanced, what you're doing is understand your emotions, understand your emotional pattern. So now at this point, you have a better grasp on your emotions. And then if there's any, let's just say, blockages, now you know exactly how to remove them. Another way of saying this, we also call ourselves alchemists because we have the ability to transmute, meaning this energy that you're dealing with, you could make yourself happy. But anyway, and just so you guys know, that's also a little bit of background behind what affirmations are too, is to change that frequency. But anyway, that's what you're dealing with, for you to become emotionally balanced. And in addition to that, I also help you to become intellectually or mentally balanced. Now you're dealing with your mind. You have to understand how your mind works. That's your business. So the entire conscious thing, it's just pretty much you minding your freaking business to the core. It's you truly, literally putting yourself together. But for you to do that, you have to collect or you have to bring all of those different disconnected aspect of you. You have to bring them together. And that's the whole, idea of becoming in alignment with you. So we're talking some shit. I feel like I must be on some bullshit. Mm. All right. Keeping it light. Now, going back to being mentally balanced, you have to understand how your mind works. But most importantly, as part of you mastering the mind or you taking control over your mind, you have to understand how were you trained to think. That's what you are being raised a certain way. That is the whole purpose of you going to kindergarten and they teaching you what they're teaching you. You are being, I don't want to say fabricated, but you are being conditioned. It's building you a certain way. And knowledge you can either build or destroy. But anyway, going back to that's why when we're talking about spirituality, I guess I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here too, is your life. Now, when we talk about culture, culture is shaping you. It's training your mind to think a certain way. That's what makes a motherfucker like me being a Haitian nigga. Well, that's what makes you American. That's what makes them French, Canadian, Jamaican, whatever the fuck. And your objective is like for me, how do I be Haitian without being Haitian? How do you be American without being American? That's a fully loaded statement there. So now, in one part, you're saying, okay, this is where I was born. That this is what was given to me, and the other part of that, you not being that, is that you being in control of what's being given to you. Meaning, you may, as you have the proper spirit of discernment, and that comes from consciousness, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. That's why when we talk about your spirituality, it's society, it's your humanity. This is you walking around. This is the reality that you are looking at. But now, what you're dealing with, let's just say, let me just talk about the occult a little bit. You have the type of knowledge, or you could call it mysticism if you want to be dramatic. But all that shit is doing is dealing with mystery. I mean, if you know what the meaning of mystery is, there's no mystery, motherfucker. But anyway, let me behave. It's Monday night. What the fuck was I talking about? So yeah, so let's go back to dealing with the mystery, but most importantly, like you dealing with, what was I referring to? Was it culture? Right? So then, you really get to examine thing. You don't go for face value. And having a proper understanding of yourself, that's what this is too. But you would have to understand your mind, how you thinking, how is your mind being trained to think? And that entails you understanding the society that you are in. And the whole conscious thing, like you see people are telling I'm broke and all that shit. The purpose is for you to have more understanding, becoming more aware of what's around you. Your goal is to become the Christ light, the bright one, the illuminated one. That's the whole that's what the saint picture is actually depicting, seeing the hollow and all that shit, and that's that level of consciousness, and now you shining among men. That's why the words got to be made flesh. But that's all, I mean, listen, it's all good. So now when you add those two together, I mean, and then this is what spirituality is. So that's why, I guess shit. I guess I'll talk about it real quick. Hey, my motherfuckers who came back, you already know. I got you. I got you. I don't want to salute you for niggas. Let me slow down. I'm not giving you no half love, motherfucker. I just wanted to see if you was gonna fall for it. Listen, I'm always gonna treat you like, what I'm saying. Listen, it's always love. You know what I'm saying. So you know what we do here. When you come back, listen, man. Have you get your plate? Come get your medicine. The healer got it. I got it for you. If you step, yo, the minute you step foot in this motherfucker, you healed, bitch. Tell a fucking friend. And tell your friend to tell their friends, and their friends to tell their friends. And they say, tell them to come witness miracle, man. Be part of this miracle. Come get their medicine. You understand? That's why like the mob was always after Jesus. Come get it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. Always a pleasure, motherfuckers. You know. Now, with all of that being said, you already know we're having our supper. You know what I'm saying? Let's break some bread. Let's just do what we do, man. Let's build let's build each other. Oh, I'm here to build. You know what I'm saying? You could call me the architect too. You know what I'm saying? The mason, it's all of that. That's why you want to embrace all of that wisdom, and that's how you become, the Christ-like. And just so you guys know too, when we're talking about Christ, Buddha, whoever the fuck, those are nothing, or simply, I should say, because they're everything. But they're simply a depiction or a manifestation of what it's like to attain that level of consciousness. Oh, you definitely got to show it off. A bunch of shows offs, man. These motherfuckers were showing off. And listen, when you got it, you got it, and you got to live it too. So that's why what I'm saying. There's a lot of Christ out there. You better be one of them, because talking about Christ means nothing if it's not active into your life. You got to act it out. Otherwise, it's just words, 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 and words. So be the Christ, man. Be perfect. That's what the motherfucker was telling you. Pick and choose what side for you to. Nah, be perfect, motherfucker. Embrace all of that shit, all aspect of yourself, and by you attaining that perfection, well, that's what healing is all about. And that's also where I come in. Put my blouse and everything on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm working for the community. I'm working for you. And this is also from the heart. The reward, it's in it for me. How can I ever let this down? First of all, it's a fucking it's a privilege even to talk about this kind of shit. Oh, I dance around the topic. You know what I'm saying? It's a big privilege, man, to be a conductor, to allow this wisdom to go through me, so you can see yourself. Anyway, my niggas, that was for you. You coming back? That was for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you all that. Anyway, let's get into it. Right? So now, guys, as part of my routine, if this is your first time, if you're coming back, you already know. We're gonna tap into spirituality real quick. I'm not gonna spend too much time because we got some other shit to talk about. However, it's a must for me because spirituality pretty much it's the foundation of me even talking about the shit that I'm talking about now. Yeah, listen, man, what you see is what you get, baby. You know what I'm saying? And when you see it, it's even better than what you see. You know what I'm saying? Once you get it, listen, it changed the whole thing. But anyway, it's your regular life. When we talk about spirituality, it's your regular life, man. So again, if you took into account everything we talked about, from dealing with your emotions, oh, I forgot to mention the shadow self, which is also all part of that. Let's just say yourself, which is a little more than what it appears to be, which is not just a physical body. That's why, I mean, we all live. Listen, I mean, if that was the case, even the motherfuckers who believe in just going to work, shit, and all that shit, you still gotta go out. You still go out to vacation. Those are all aspect of you that you are. I mean, that's more than dick and pussy, or even more than money for that matter. Of course, we use money to do it, but the benefit, we all know it. So again, this is just showing you, that there's an aspect of you that also needs to be satisfied, that is being satisfied, consciously or unconsciously. So what we do in spirituality, especially when we're dealing with the occult, is to bring your consciousness to your non-conscious part, and that's how you're becoming the whole one too. So by you, it's this is how you come become in alignment with yourself, by using the type of knowledge that allows you to see beyond your ordinary life. You know what I'm saying? It's just think about it this way: it was you who you just fucked, right? Fucking with just fucking. But then when you become a little more spiritual, then I just don't want to exchange my energy with anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's still fucking, but you're becoming a lot more conscious of just the dick and pussy. So again, you having a deeper understanding of your ordinary reality. That's why the Indian called this Maya. And if you stay on the dick and pussy level, I mean, that's what being dead is. When we call you dead or zombie, that's what that is. You stay on that level. Or you're not woke. For my woke niggas. However you want to say it, as long as you get the point. Listen, man, whatever floats your boat, baby. Whatever floats your boat, but you're gonna get it one way or another. But anyway, it's pretty much now, the occult is shedding light. That's why it's dealing with your hidden side. But you're also walking, that's when you're doing your shadow self. Meaning now, when you're talking about shadow work, why am I up? You're doing your shadow work. I said, whatever. It is what it is. When you're dealing with your shadow, with your shadow self, and you're doing the shadow work, what you're really doing is dealing with those early emotions, or you're dealing with the messages that was, let's just say, the Batman. He fell into the fucking pit, whatever the fuck. This is him confronting himself. He was doing his shadow work. I don't know how else to say it. To become fully that person. So when we're dealing with, let's just say, spirituality or the occult or those sacred texts and knowledge, what those are pretty much, I call them manuals. And I strongly recommend, let's just say, the Kybalion, because it's all about self mastery. It teaches you self mastery by understanding and identifying many different aspects of yourself. It makes you more conscious. Any type of aha moment, it's something that you didn't have that is being added, and more of that. That's what becoming conscious is. And then now you attain the Christ consciousness. Congratulations, motherfucker. Come on home. I got you. That's the finish line. Pretty much. That's the journey. So again, going back to spirituality, if you looked at every aspect that I touch, I mean, it's your life. The issue becomes, or the biggest misconception, is when motherfuckers say you can't see yourself, you don't see spirituality, you don't connect with it. That's because you only connected with your physical aspect. And that's what we call also ignorant. You become ignorant out of ignorance. you, you got to get on your manual, baby. Or even to look at spirituality as just a religious thing, or it's a belief system. Those are a limited perspective and misconception out of ignorance. Because spirituality embodies all of it. That's why we say, in fact, that's why they say, oh, we say, same shit. You know, if you say you can't do something, I mean, the person that says I can do this and the other person that said I can't do that, they are both right. Now, if you understand that little statement right there, and all we're doing now is open up your consciousness to understand, hey, man, you were the one stopping yourself. Well, you are in your way, man. You got to move out. And that moving out is you becoming in alignment with yourself. It's being said in different ways, looking at different perspective or levels. But ultimately, I mean, that's the work that has to be done for you to become fully conscious. But again, when we're talking about spirituality, it's everything. Now, again, going back to the occult, now I also fuck with the occult. Personally, I mean, I guess the popular definition of it is, the hidden culture. Personally, I don't know. It doesn't. But I understand what they're saying though, because you're dealing with a part of you that is not visible. Meaning, some of the basic shit that, let's just say, the occult will teach you is that you have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. Because your subconscious mind is under, that's why they call it subconscious, the conscious. Another way of truly saying this is that they trying to show you a different aspect of you that exists. And that's what the message has always been. That's what Jesus was telling you, to recognize the Father and again, to come back home, to remember, reconnect with yourself. So again, spirituality is just your life. Anything less than that is out of ignorance. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, meaning, you're not aware of that aspect of yourself. And which is not a coincidence too, because you were not trained. That's why you have to understand your culture. You got to understand your environment, society, the school that you go to, the environment that you're living in, or the society that you're part of. We are living in a society. You should live your life based on who you should be, not on who you are. It's not a coincidence, motherfuckers are keeping up with the Joneses. And everything is a competition too. We call it that way. Those are key words. When if you're dealing with self, the only competition is you. Well, can you really call that a competition? Or can you really talk about competition really in general when you're looking at yourself from that perspective? The answer is no fucking way. Congratulations on what you're doing. Hey, I wish you the best. And you really mean that shit. And I'm doing me. And that shit, and I'm gonna be the best. That's my business. Otherwise, why the fuck would I want to do this for? I'm not playing myself. I'm playing to win, nigga. I'm a winner. Without having to step on anybody's toes, but this is strictly referring to me becoming a better version of me, being successful. So I made it, man. It's the part I came out. I don't think everybody, you know what I'm saying? Your boy made it. And that's your truth. I mean, if you know anything that's better than that, let me know. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Money part, we're gonna shit. We got that too. How do you want it? Shit. I don't bet it. I don't bet it. To whom much is given, much is required, man. And vice versa too. Come on now. Come on. But anyway, going back to spirituality real quick, it's your life. And looking at spirituality from that perspective too, and truly understand that. Oh, listen, man, you shed enough a lot of skin already, and that's why, and that's also another reason why I like to take my time and talk about spirituality too. So you have the right state of mind, because it's not about how much you see if you're not looking at it right. It's like if you head in the wrong direction. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it could be. Let's just say if you want to compare it, maybe to a miles versus 20 miles down the wrong road. All right, have at it. All I know, you're not on the right path. Not on the right path. Now, at any given time, come on, baby, you walk up and make that U-turn. In fact, you know what I'm saying? That's the work we're doing here. So, spirituality is your regular life. Now, now, then the most obvious thing, because we're going to be talking about creative thinking, as you start to learn about your let's just say your essence. We all say it, you hear it all the time. You want to change your life, but change your thoughts. They're not talking about ideas or one like let's just say thought or two thoughts. Your pattern of thinking. That's what we're talking about. Your thoughts. Let's just say if you're a negative motherfucker, you gotta change your pattern of thinking for you to become positive. And that's truly what the difference is. But that difference also comes out of enlightenment. That's why we encourage people to be grateful because there's intelligence in that. You can only be truly grateful. I mean, you could fake it if you want, but truly to be graceful. Listen, it's to find yourself. Like I tell people, I'll give you another example. Like you want to become not positive in the sense of everything's going to happen that happens to you is positive. No, you want to adopt a positive outlook on shit. If you made a mistake and then you learn from it, now let's be honest. That lesson you didn't have it before. You learn from it. Yes, you lost, but you also win. That's why the wise ones we say in life you can either learn or win. Now, if you're having a positive outlook on shit, it's a win-win for you because you got something you didn't have. Or let's just say, and also if you're winning, well, you also got something that you didn't have. And most importantly, you know, creative thinking also has a lot to do. I mean, it's more than just creative thinking. And that's where I'm going with that too. That's why to me, when you understand that you are a living thinking thing, for lack of better terms, because if your life is based on your level of consciousness, that's why knowledge is everything. You can either train yourself to be smarter or you training yourself to be dumber. Regardless, you're doing something. And that's your nature to always, that's the law of rhythm too, to always vibrate because you are a spirit energy. We may have to turn up a little bit. Just bear with me. However, the spirit wants it too, man. Let me take the time and thank all of my ancestors, man. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but love. Thank you for everything. I, the, I'm just taking this shit publicly now. You know what I'm saying? Like I told these niggas, yo, I love you motherfuckers so much. I'm taking this shit out. Listen, I've been in the closet for too long, nigga. So I'm saying this to say this is not clout at all. If it is, I'll take everything that it comes with. For what? For sure, I'm taking this shit publicly now. I'm announcing my love in public for these motherfuckers because they show me the love in public too. If you know, you know. So I have no reason to be ashamed of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? So salute. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know. Hey, listen, man. I got testimonies. I have a lot of confessions. I need to confess. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no fucking stone that's gonna be talking for me. I'm gonna tell my own fucking story. So me coming out publicly is telling you how much I love these motherfuckers and to thank them too. Shit, they know I'm not playing. No, I'm not fucking playing with them. You know what I'm saying? And then as I'm also, or as you become more, let's just say, spiritually inclined. The reason why I was having a conversation with a girl yesterday, you know what I'm saying? She's like, well, are you spiritually inclined? I just thought it was cute. So, well, anyway, as you become more spiritually inclined, meaning you start looking at reality from a different lens. Again, the same reality, but you're looking at it from a deeper perspective. And that's what being grown is all about, too. Like my son, this nigga's into Spider Man. His reality is Spider Man, and my reality is Spider Man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure he keeps spiting. Hey, you Spider Man? Keep going. Jumping against off the wall, doing all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So for him, you know what I'm saying? Okay, if we want to, let's look at it from all perspective, right? You know what I'm saying? His Spider Man is costing me money. So I mean, of course, I mean, I take joy at seeing the motherfucker being happy, but his Spider Man and my Spider Man are different. Like I'm paying for his Spider Man. You know what I'm saying? And this motherfucker's truly enjoying and being Spider-Man. So I'm saying all of that. Here we are living in the same, sharing the same space. So that's why you got to seek the kingdom of God. So to know your nature or becoming spiritually inclined. That's out, girl. It's to become more conscious or having a deeper understanding of who you are. So now that living thinking thing, for lack of a better term that I'm using, because obviously our thoughts plays a big part in it. Oh, and let me say this, because that was the thing. This he probably channeled that fucking shit. Albert Einstein said, "Imagination is greater than wisdom." He was on a whole different planet. Like he was on a whole different plane when he said that, because that's all of our ancestors. We understood that. That's why you have those symbols around you. Those are all metaphors. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. I mean, this is come on. You are a symbolism. You're a symbol of something. Make sure you represent it. And also, that is, ironically, the wisdom of the crystals too. Because we crystallize our body. That's the energy you're dealing with. But that's all. Anyway, it just had some of the house baby. Anyway, now, so then knowledge, thoughts is your biggest commodity because pretty much that's your makeup. The whole the whole idea there's a guy, Napoleon Hill. I think he truly understood that. So he had a book like Think Like a Billionaire. I mean, I can't recall the title, and I don't want to shit on it either because there was a lot of great wisdom in it, right? And listen, wisdom is wisdom regardless where it comes from. We understand. We know this is precious. But I'm saying that to say, so he was talking about trying to understand the mentality in poor people versus people that has a lot of money. Because for me, I was looking at the bigger picture. There's a certain way that they look at reality. So again, this is going back to let you know, like the biggest commodity. Like if you're not sitting on knowledge, or if you're not, what I'm saying, feeding your mind, if you're not watering your garden, I don't know what you're doing. You might want to ask yourself, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a few minutes. Nigga. In fact, you got a whole fucking lifetime. Hope it doesn't take you that long, but hey, you know, it is what it is. That fucking emoji. You know what I'm saying? Right there. You know what I'm saying? So now we understand that thoughts plays a big part in us, meaning not just thought in the sense of ideas, but the mental, the intellect aspect of yourself, understanding knowledge. I mean, listen, you that's what you should be sitting on. And obviously the guys like Jesus, the Christians, that's what they represented. That's that symbol. So as you working on yourself, as you digesting that that knowledge, and guess what it does to you? The whole idea of Jesus telling you, eating my flesh and drink my blood, this is referring to that intelligence. And this is a type of knowledge. Knowledge, it changes you. You know, it's showing you you got to have a direct relationship with the knowledge. That's why there's no benefit in talking about Jesus at all if you're not going to be like him. You're just going to sound pretty. And tell yourself all reasons why you shouldn't be like him, but you should talk about him. And that's all you're going to do because there's nothing in just talking about anything. I mean, you could walk it and talk it. Well, that's different. And that's why also I believe I can't recall where it says, but you know, it's not those who call out my name. Many are called, a few are chosen. What this is showing you, you got it's got to be in the pudding. It's got to be in it. That's why you'll see most religious people, in terms of what they call in religion, but a true religious person is what I do, is who I am. Because the true meaning of religion is to make the divinity in human form. Well, that's what I'm doing here by helping you to acknowledge that divinity in you. And as you're doing so, you are bringing it out, you making it. That's why you have to materialize your spirituality. And that's how you ascend, by materializing it. So let's go back to thinking because that's where we're going with creative thinking, right? So then now we understand knowledge plays a, it's us. And that's why knowledge also is represented by a tree because it breach out in different aspect of your life. That's why I always tell people, don't worry about a fucking relationship. Make yourself better. Then you'll be able to relate better with other people. And what is it that motherfuckers are teaching you in fucking relationship? Learn how to listen. Well, that's you being a better version of you, motherfucker. If you were already a better version of you would learn how to listen. But you would also understand listening is more than just being quiet. You may have to ask a question too to showcase you are listening. Not necessarily to the other person, but it's that active shit because it could be quiet. I mean, there's just, it doesn't, once you grasp it, you flow with it. Respect one another. Like, nah, that's why a relationship is not your fucking life. It shouldn't be your fucking life. This is after you be. That's why you know what I'm saying. Even when we're talking about two people being falling in love, being in good relationship, you're not gonna have a good motherfucker with a fucking asshole. Like it's not gonna work. It never worked. I'm talking about an asshole. Like they may be a little more different. That may be a little bit more strict, a little laid back, but ultimately, you know, you'll understand why she's the way she is. You know what I'm saying? That's the combination of the masculine and the feminine coming together. That's perfection. That's holy. It's completed. It's the big piece, the yin and the yang coming together. That's my eye. And that's also another reason too. If you becoming in alignment with your emotions, you have to, it's the whole idea of mind, body, and soul. It's you becoming in alignment with all of those different aspects of you. That's why you got to do your shadow work. That's why you got to do, you do your meditation. You're doing all of that for a reason. Now, because speaking of meditation, that's another form of creative thinking. I'm getting a little bit. Oh, I should have a part two because there's a lot to be said. Well, you would have to check out my Patreon too, motherfucker. Because we break all that shit down. Yeah, anyway, yeah, it's that way. But but you're gonna get enough. You're gonna get what's needed. Put it this way. So then now at this point you understand how valuable not just knowledge is, but what does that say about you? That's why when you get to know yourself, you're seeing that okay, you're a living thinking. This is just my words, like a living thinking thing, or the Kabbalion calls it a living mind. Let's go with that. The Kabbalion calls it you are a living mind, and then i.e. spirit. They're not saying that your body does not exist. They're not saying none of that shit. In fact, what we're learning is, and that's why we call this world, like the Indian calls it Maya, which means a world of illusion. Nothing is what it seems. Even when you get in a relationship with somebody, it's not just you dealing with that person. You're dealing with their mom, their dad, the way they were raised, and all that shit. And in most cases, those are the relationship that never work. But ultimately, that's what you're dealing with. Unless if that person have done their shadow work, another way of saying that have if they have slayed or killed their own family, not not literal killing here, killers. Disclaimers. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure because you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. It's nothing literal here in terms of facing them becoming you. And of course, you don't have to annihilate not taking anything from your parents. That's not what this is. That means neither. It means now with the information that they give you in certain circumstances, fuck these motherfuckers. In other circumstances, it's you use what they give you, but now you using it because you validated it, not because they said it. It makes sense to you. Now you made it part that wisdom part of you. That's why the truth you always have to be awakened to it. So there's a little bit of layer there, but I guess for you to have the proper understanding here, because it doesn't mean has nothing to do, let's just say, killing your family or what I'm saying, slaying your dragon. However, terminology you want to use, it's not necessarily saying you have to suppress that part of you. Not at all. But what this is truly saying is you have to become the actual conductor, like the creator, using the things that is for you. And if they gave you nothing that's for you, well, that's not for you at all. And they gave you something that's for you, you're still slaying them because you're not taking it just because of them, but it's because of you. So now, and that's part of also you become mentally balanced too. That's what self mastery it's all about, or becoming conscious or to be the Christ like. Now, so we were talking about, how the Kabbalion identifies us as a living mind. Because ultimately, when you break everything down, you change your life with your thinking. You're not truly who you are. Like, even for you to know somebody, you got to find them. What that means is it's not their physical appearance that tells you who somebody is, right? So everything around you, it's not what it seems. And that's what makes it a fucking illusion. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay strapped, baby. You know what I'm saying? You're always like, motherfucker, You know, I think the Islam brothers they have this saying, believe half of what you see. What that was, and this is not the shit on that too. Maybe I should Google that shit. Uh, you know what I'm saying? But I hope you get the point. They say half of what you hear, nothing, whatever the fuck, and half of what you see, nothing what you hear. What this is referring to, man, you gotta stay strapped. Stay strapped. Meaning you gotta look at things beyond than what they appears to be. And this is the plane that we are living in. That's why they call it Earth. This is Maya, the world of illusion, Malkuth, whatever the fuck. Let's give them a big thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? For all those fucking big expressions. Maya, Malkuth, whatever the fuck. They're just talking about you. But there's a little bit, every profession also has their own vernacular. So, if you want to be a little bit occultish, I mean, there's certain saying that I love myself too. And sometimes it's got to be said that way because the magic is how it's being said as well. Kind of have that mysterious language. Yeah, but again, and all of that has to do with your creative mind, but also imagination. Now, let's go back to that motherfucker who said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. God damn it. That was, he nailed it. That was a channel message. Because think about it. If we're a thinking being, a living mind, what could be greater than fucking imagination? Because imagination allows you to expand your world. Imagination is also part of fucking, like when people are brainstorming, you also, you throwing shit out there, you getting creative, you changing the old into the new. That's why I don't know who was I talking to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, man, regardless of what we do, the earth is taking care of us, man. Even when you eat meat, the meat that you're eating gotta eat some vegetables. Listen, man. Like, and that's what I'm saying. That's why the more conscious you are, you become a little more closer to nature because it's revealing you seeing yourself through nature. And that's another reason why our ancestors They worship nature. They understand nature was God. The creative force, the imagination, the understanding. You reap what you sow. The wisdom is there. Oh, it's more than what you see. And then when you start to connect with that, I'm getting ahead of myself. You know what I'm saying? But that has to do as you are elevating your level of consciousness. That's why the deeper you go, what I'm saying, you're able now, this truth is going to set you free. This reality, you're going to start looking at it from a different perspective. Just like my son, although we're sharing the same space, that's why this whole idea is not to say fuck Earth. That's why it's a polarity, not a duality. It's two sides of the same coin. That's what you represent here. That's what your body is. There's no body without a spirit. And when you show it to me, you know exactly what that means. That's what dead is. Your body's you. You or your body. And of course, for lack of better terms, what I'm referring here is that the connection between you and your body. And of course, you're much greater than your body. Don't get stuck. And I speak in levels, but you can only transcend the body too by embodying the body. That's why in us, in our culture, we also dance to venerate God. Dancing is a spiritual thing. That's why you have those sacred dances, those movements. And when these women are dancing, you know what I'm saying, they are reflecting nature. Now they are embodying the feminine energy. Now, when you go to a strip club, they're giving you a more condensed version of that. It's not the real ecstasy. The real ecstasy is in these women. Like when you see, yo, man, yo, you gotta go see, go see a fucking Haitian like a voodoo dance. You'll see how that experience, what it does. Now go to a strip club. It's different vibe. I mean, but ultimately, that's why. I mean, they're also, reflecting that feminine side. But you more, it's a little more dense. I'm saying that to say I love my women to be more on the light side. You know what I'm saying? We don't want you to be too heavy, baby. Now, oh, you listen, and when you that light, believe me, that little thing, that little twerking thing, that shit means nothing. And you got a bum ass pussy too. Mm. Trinity, fucking you one way or another, bitch. Trinity, you on my list. You will be getting fucked, bitch. You are getting fucked. Oh shit! Damn, it's already a fucking hour. I think I'm gonna stop it here. So we're gonna have part one. So pretty much giving you a foundation or more of a baseline on what to look for in part two. Because what we're truly doing here is helping to identify that living mind in you, right? That living thinking thing, as I like to call it, just to emphasize on, you know, how knowledge or how your perception of knowledge creates or determine your reality too, right? And then now when we're talking about, becoming conscious, when you do that through imagination, which is what meditation is all about, because what you're truly doing is allowing energy to flow through you. That's why, as part of your spiritual journey, at some point you have to open up your third eye. You could do it through eating certain food, whatever the fuck. But what you're saying is you are opening yourself more to the light. You're becoming more receptive, and that's how you get downloads. We call downloads like, or what people would call revelation, or God tell me this, God told me that. The more open you are, the more you'll be able to listen to God. And that could be done through your fucking creative thinking. But that's gonna be for part two. I wanted you to give you part one. Take it easy, niggas. Wait for it, man. Wait, where you going? Wait, you already knows nothing but love's already past the fucking hour. You already know, man. I see. Ali.